Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope you enjoyed your weekend. This is Mr. Saturday, and here's another Duels 2013 game. And today I'm using the Ancient Wilds deck. Woo, yeah! You don't really see this very often. I mean, I've run into I don't know, probably only like two people using it since I've started playing online. It doesn't really have that, I don't know, really flashy stuff that attracts people to the deck. But it does play very well when you get everything going. It's a mono green deck. It's very, very, very creature heavy. And unlike the Pack Instinct deck, you think they'd be the same because they're both mono green. But this deck focuses on a lot of smaller guys, and it abuses the come to play abilities of those creatures. As you can see right here, I have Wood Elves on the field. That gives me a forest every time I play it. Elvish Visionary in my hand. I draw a card when I play that. And Briarpack Alpha, which whenever I play that, I give a guy a power boost for the turn. So you just reuse those abilities with either Roaring Primadox, which I took out because honestly, it's not that great of a card. I mean, I could keep one or two, but having all three or four of them, whatever you have, I don't find it to be very useful, and sometimes it won't really come in handy. But instead, you have Erratic Portal, which is that artifact I have on the field right there. You can return a creature to your hand once a turn, or anyone's hand, unless that player pays 1 mana. You could bounce your opponent's guys if they're all tapped out for the turn, and that's nice to have. The main point of having that in your deck is that you can bounce one of your own guys back to your hand, and then replay it, and then abuse that come into play effect. As you can see there, last turn I played Elvish Visionary, bounced it, replayed it. So basically I drew 3 cards last turn. And I mean, you can't beat that, because when you get that massive card advantage like I just did, it can go downhill very fast for your opponent. Because as you can see here, I am playing the black deck, lots of creature destruction spells, but as you can see here, I am drawing more creatures than they have the ability to destroy. So yeah, they're just gonna get overrun with creatures, and it has a very odd mana curve in this deck. You'll see like when you're in the deck editor, there's about the same number of guys for each mana cost on average. I mean, it's not going to be the exact same, but you'll see a lot of high cost creatures, which is kind of odd. And unlike the Pack Instinct deck, there really isn't a way to get mana. The only way to accelerate that is Wood Elves, and that costs 3. So you're not doing any kind of acceleration until turn 3. Meanwhile, Pack Instinct, they have let me think, Nature's Lore. You have 4 of those, I believe, which is insane. I wish this deck had 1 Nature's Lore, but it doesn't. They could really use that actually, but that's not what happens. So like Pack Instinct, they have the Nature's Lures. You have your medallions, your Emerald medallions, to reduce the cost of your spells, and I believe you actually also have Cultivate, so that's pretty cool. This deck has none of those, unfortunately. All you have are crappy Wood Elves, but I keep them in the deck because I can abuse that effect with my Erratic Portal, and I can get a ton of lands out. Once you get the machine going, it really goes well. The only hard part with this deck is surviving enough turns to get all your stuff clicking together, and then you can do really good stuff. Like here, I have 8 lands out now, and I have Palaka Worm in my hand. So if I wanted to, I could gain 7 life every turn for the rest of the game, because I can just keep bouncing it and playing it, bounce and play it, bounce and play it. So that's that's pretty much a win condition. I guess you just gain more life than they can deal. It becomes almost like a celestial light, because when you're getting that much life a turn, there's really not a whole lot they can do. They better have some really good creatures out for you to lose the game once you have Palaka Worm on the board. And as you can see here, though, it's a bit difficult because I am playing against the black deck, so I can't just freely use Erratic Portal, because if I activated the ability, they could always just play some kind of kill card like Murder in response, and then my portal would be rendered useless, my creature would be dead. So instead, I'm instead just holding on to the portal mana. I'm keeping that untapped at all times, so that way if they try to play a spell, I can counter, like what I'm doing right now. They played Infest, so I'm going to bounce one guy back to my hand and save it. My Spider and my Worm already survive, so I can either save a Visionary or my Taunting Elf, And normally I would pick the Visionary, but I felt kind of cautious this game, so I bounced the Taunting Elf back to my hand, and that way if they play, like Nightmare or some huge creature, then I can have the Elf on the field, and I can, draw it away from my bigger guys while they go through for damage. So that was my plan with that, and unfortunately he also had Murder, in which he, like I said, he used that in response to my portal. Smart move on his part. So my worm's dead, and of course I drew a card though. I love Palak Worm, so awesome. You get life when you play it. You draw a card when you lose it. Nothing wrong with that. And right there you can see I have Elder Scale Worm in my hand. So that's like, I don't know if you're familiar with the card Platinum Angel, but it's pretty much like that. Pretty cool, and it's a 7/7 trampler. What could go wrong? And it also stops you from losing the game. So good stuff there, really good stuff. And he's pretty much screwed at this point. He ran out of kill cards, and I can just bounce a guy back to my hand if he tries to kill something. Right here you can see I have massive card advantage over him. He's got 3 cards in hand, and I've got 3 on the field, 2 in hand, or 4 on the field actually. And I have my portal, and there he goes. He just leaves the game. He knows that he's lost, and I speed this up very, very, very fast to finish off the game. I basically just keep swinging in for damage and stuff, and beat the opponent into a bloody pulp. So that's the game. That's how you play the Ancient Wilds deck, and stay tuned and stuff. Yeah. Well, I've run out of things to say, and the video is over, so I'm just gonna cut it here. See you later.